Hello and welcome to another episode of the Small Business Insights. I'm Don Emmett, Managing Director of Entrust Associates, and we're here today at Alotech in Goldston, North Carolina with Tommy Kirk, Chief Operating Officer. Tommy, thanks for having us into your amazing facility.
Thank you for coming.
Good stuff. You see in the background, it's quite an expansive. So you said there's 7 acres under roof?
It's 220,000 square feet.
Quite a facility.
26 acres.
Tommy, tell us a little about the history of Alotech and how you got to where you are.
Alotech started back in 1991 to support another product being built through ABB. It was a meter base for your homes. So Alotech was started to do some sub-assembly work for ABB as they were expanding out of the Raleigh branch. And through that, just started picking up other contract manufacturing jobs. We've been able to expand from there. Went up to about 45 employees. 2003, in a downturn, so started another contract with Eaton Corporation in 2004 that revitalized the business, and we've been going up ever since.
So Tommy, I know you have several different product lines and businesses here. Can you briefly tell us what goes on here at Alotech?
A little bit more about Alotech. We are a contract manufacturer. I wouldn't call us a traditional contract manufacturer because we try to focus on helping smaller businesses scale their products. We want to work with companies that have either a technology that is substantially different than your typical competitor. So we like to stay in the blue ocean, as Jim Collins would say. We don't want to compete where it's a commodity and we're trying to just compete on dollars. So what we try to do is help small companies that are trying to scale their business, get to that next level where they may need some help with the manufacturing, the inventory controls, distribution, the design and engineering of the product. Just trying to get it where it's more sellable, where more manufacturable from a cost standpoint and from just a quality of work standpoint. So that's our key focus, helping those small businesses that need manufacturing scale up so they can prepare for private equity or just doubling the value of their business.
So some of the products that are coming off your lines here, you have with an exercise company.
Yep. So currently right now we're working with half a dozen different partners that have products that are in the rehabilitation side. We have our new stand-up walker that's launching. It launched about a month and a half ago. We've got a new that's for the stand-up walkers for URI's company, and then we are also working with React Innovations on a very high-tech rehabilitation magnetic therapy for your muscles, to keep your muscles from atrophy. It's a technology that came over from Europe. Is now being implemented here in the States. So we are working with React Innovations on that. We have a workout equipment. I'll say workout, but it's more of a resistance and speed training equipment. It's by a company called Vertimax. They've been in business for 15, 20 years. but they were experiencing some growing pains, and we were able to go in and help them buy their raw materials at a more consistent and less cost. We were able to help them reduce their overhead along with reducing some labor costs just through engineering better practices and better ways of assembling their product. We changed up a little bit of their components that allowed us to save quite a bit of gross margin as well. So it's been a fairly successful venture with those guys. It was very challenging in the beginning because they needed a lot of help to scale. It was a quick ramp up. That's been going very well. We're still manufacturing the Eaton clutches, reman clutches, so that's going really well. They've had a little bit of a downturn with having companies like Freightliner and Volvo. They're doing vertical integration, so they're starting to build their own transmissions and their own clutches themselves. So we've seen a downturn in the clutch market, but it's still fairly strong. And what we provide is a reman clutch. We don't assemble the OEM. We build the reman clutches.
In terms of a growth strategy or the next Vertimax, or what's your plan to bring in new small businesses?
So we've been working on a marketing campaign. We've never actually done sales and marketing per se. It's probably our weakest point, and that's really why we like being contract manufacturers, because we would prefer our partners be experts in sales and marketing, so we can just be the experts on the manufacturing side. So we are working on that. We're launching a new website, sort of a makeover. We're launching a few AdWord campaigns, and we're focusing on what we call the creative investment side of manufacturing and contract manufacturing. We really see our best success with customers who need some creative investment from a standpoint of they don't want to sell any of their company, but they know they need to raise some funds to buy their inventory and hire bulk. Most of the products we build, we'll buy a year's worth of inventory, and we'll just set it where they are releasing. Those vendors are releasing X amount every month. Where most companies that start up and inventors, they just buy what they need for a month or 2 month basis.
They can't take advantage of economies of scale and more creative procurement.
Yep. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to work with companies that really need what we can offer from a standpoint of that. Going in, sharing the information about their business. How do they want to grow? What's their strategic plan look like? And then how can we interject our services to help them scale faster? So it's all about speed, and it's all about doing it in an economical way. Because most companies, if the inventor is the owner, it's just throwing money at something, trying to get it up and going, instead of really stepping back and taking a calculated approach at growing the manufacturing capabilities.
In the manufacturing world, it's somewhat of a labor-intensive, although you mentioned some robotic things that you're getting into, so kind of speaks to your employment strategies and attracting, maintaining quality employees.
Yeah, so what we try to do is we have an automation department in our business where we try to build automated equipment to automate certain parts of the business that are highly labor intensive. But what we like to try to do is with having those types of things, it actually helps the people out on the line. They see it as it helps make their job easier. It's not
mindless, repetitive stuff that.
We want to keep people engaged, and they're a lot of times the ones that come up with the ideas. Hey, if we could do this, Tommy, this would help us out a lot. So then we put our automation team on it. We look at the return on investment. If it costs $50,000 or $100,000 to build that piece of equipment, how long will it take to pay itself back? And so we're definitely doing that, but we strive to have a very unique culture, and I know a lot of companies say that. Family is very important. Our community is very important, and our mission as a company to be ambassadors for building things here in the U.S. and taking care of our community, along with we have a very strong missions-based part of our business where we bring clean water to developing countries through some of the equipment that we build for water purification. So that's a big part of our plan as a whole company, and each employee buys into that, and they really enjoy being a part of it.
Was there an event or a time or an order that you knew Alotech was going to be successful? The Eaton business or the ABB business?
I think sort of when I knew that we had something is when about my third or fourth Vertimax company, that whole process of being able to help a company get to that next level, scale their business, become profitable. You know, when I was able to see the looks on their faces, see the relief from 6 months or a year before, how stressful their lives were and how stressful the business was, and how they weren't able to focus on growing their business. They were so concerned with trying to save a nickel out on their manufacturing floor that they weren't concerned with the sales and marketing side and the message that clear message to their customer. When you see that focus transfer from manufacturing something to actually selling their product and educating people on what their product does and how effective it is, that for me is what drives me and what I see as, wow, we're changing lives. We're for our people here because we're adding more employees here, but at the same time we're affecting these business owners, these entrepreneurs in such a positive way that their quality of life increases as well.
Good stuff. In terms of, in retrospect, you've been at it for over 20 years now. Looking back, you had to do something differently. What might you?
Well, I think when you start out, you do anything for everybody. There's nothing you don't turn down. I think if I had to do it over again, 3 to 5 years into this, I would have cut back on what I was doing and tried to focus better on what I did best, which was help come up with creative ways to thinking outside the box on ways to help these small businesses. Because what I find, small businesses, the first thing they do is they go overseas to try to get a cheap price because they feel like that's what they have to have.
That's what you hear. That's the game plan.
Yeah, an inventor, he thinks he's got to buy it as cheap as he can so he can sell it at whatever the market's telling him he has to sell it at, instead of focusing on ways to upsell his product, sell it for a premium. I call it the Yeti cooler model. You think about Yeti cooler. If you went to before Yeti and brought out their line of coolers, you could buy the same 45 quart cooler for $30 at Walmart. They came out with a 45 quart cooler that's $350, almost a 10x difference. I think people now, through the downturn of 08, 09, they don't mind spending money as long as it's on something they see that has value, see enough quality. And I think as entrepreneurs, if the person that invents that spends more time on figuring out how they can elevate their product above the rest, that whole blue ocean theory that you don't want to play down in the bloody in the bloody waters, where all the sharks are. You want to elevate your product to where you can sell it for 10x what your competition
Knowing
is.
who your customer is,
Yeah.
and targeting that customer that appreciates
Exactly.
value and willing to pay for it, sees the utility.
Yeah, well, Yeti saw the fact that people were tired of putting $5 worth of ice in their cooler every day, and they eliminated the pain for the consumer. And it's our job to help our partners realize what those pains are and help them see that vision so they can focus on that and we'll focus on the manufacturing.
Good stuff. In terms of advice that maybe you were given or you would give, what would you say was the best piece of advice that you received in your business career?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd say some of the best advice is that it's, I don't know, so many, I owe so much to so many great mentors. You can't be everything to everybody. You really have to focus on what your niche is. And I try to be everything to everybody because obviously everybody wants people to like them and appreciate what they bring to the table. But at the end of the day, you only have X amount of bandwidth. You have to align yourself with what your strengths are and focus on that and try to carve out a niche because otherwise, like I say, you're just competing on price. And there's a lot of people that do it, make lots of money doing it. For me, I leave that to the big boys, the big companies. I think for entrepreneurs, I really identify with the small business guys, and that's really who I'm talking to is those small business guys, and ladies. Because we have several female customers as well. But you really have to carve out your niche, know it, be an expert on it, and continue to train and evolve your products as far as designing and keeping up with the needs and demands. And I think that's sort of what attracts people to us because they come to us with an initial design or this prototype. And what we help try to do is make an array of products out of that one so we can address the issues of, like with our walker, we have different widths, we have different heights to address the needs of different shapes and sizes of people. And when they first came to us, it was one size fits all. Well, that's fine, but we want to carve out a niche and we want to address certain pains and issues. And I think that's key to small business, really focusing in on your strengths.
So we talked a little bit about your mission and helping small businesses grow and get them to the next stage, whether it be a sale or private equity,
Right.
An IPO, going public. What's Alotech's long-term plan? You see being an independent company, you strive, you think, for an IPO at some point?
I think at some point in time there'll be some interest. We've had a little bit of discussion with some larger firms that really like our model. But I think we're going to get to a point where we have 125 employees, and we're going to really narrow our focus and continue to narrow our focus, I would say, on our sweet spot as far as the customers that we can help. And it's really, hopefully we turn this business into a mercenary where we're getting paid to do, where it's more of a missionary type thing, where we're picking and choosing these entrepreneurs to help them get to that next level. Obviously, we have to make money so we can fund the next entrepreneur that needs some help. But that's my mindset on the business is really growing it into a missionary style business where we're employing people here at our company here, Alotech. and we are also elevating the entrepreneurs that we're working with so they can get to their next. That's really our focus. Now, if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I love your model, I like this," and they offer me so much for the business that I can't turn it down, I'm always open to that. There's nothing that says we won't joint venture with somebody else, so because in the end, to be a missionary, you have to have funding. And right now, we're fairly well funded. But the larger projects that we take on, the more projects that we take on, obviously we're going to continue to need more funding. So I see at some point in time we're probably manufacturing 20 different products. But the way I look at it is they're all they all have to go through that startup phase and the development phase and those types of things. And when they get to that point where they're seeking private equity or an IPO or something like that, they're more than likely going to take that manufacturing somewhere else, and that's okay with us. We're fine with helping a company get off the ground and then them take their manufacturing to that next level. We don't want to be here making hundreds of millions and billions of the same part. That's not what we do best. We really focus on the strategic planning from the business side, strengths of what those customers do best, and we help empower them to do what they do best. And it's just, we just use the vehicle of manufacturing. It's not that our passion is making widgets. It's not. It's not. It's our passion is helping that small business owner get to that next level.
That's your delivery mechanism for your mission.
Yes, it's all about scaling their business. That's what we're passionate about.
Great story. If people want to get in touch with you or check out your website, why don't you tell people?
You can find us at alotechinc.com, so ALOTECHINC.com. You can email me at tkirk, TKIRK, at alotechinc.com. You can also look on our website. You can go to sales at Alotech Inc. That'll come directly towards me. Our phone number here is 919-774-1297. And please feel free to give us a call. I'd love to talk to you about your struggles or your passions.
Good stuff. Well, thanks, Tommy. It's been a real pleasure to be here at Alotech in Goldston, North Carolina.
Thanks,
Don Emmett from Entrust Associates saying bye for another edition of the Small Business Insights.